Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome back to another Monday night video in July where we focus on our newest stamp releases. This is one of our new ones and I'm in love with it. And tonight we're going to play with this truck and have a lot of fun. So let's get started. So as you can see, I have out my stamp wheel. I'm loving the stamp wheel just to stamp with it all the time. I enjoy it. I enjoy the motion of it. Everything about it is super fun. I'm going to be stamping with some Memento Tuxedo Black because I'm going to do some alcohol marker coloring. And I'm going to be stamping this little delivery truck. I think it is so cute. I love it. There's so much you can do with it. And the card tonight is really, hopefully, a bright idea. Hint, hint. All right, so I'm going to get this one stamped and then we'll go to the next step. Now, the next stamp I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the little sentiment from the set that says you make Santa look like an amateur, but I'm going to do it in red this time. And I'm going to place this down to pick up that little stamp. And the red I'm going to use is a Simon Hurley ink. And the reason for that is I want to use a dye ink because I'm going to alcohol marker color this. So that's the reason I was using my Memento earlier. And now I'm going to use this color called Love Struck for this. I think this will be super cute. So I'm just going to get that onto my stamp. And you can see I got it onto my platform. And y'all know my rule. If you get it where you don't want it, you're probably going to get ink where you don't want it. So I'm just going to wipe that away and bring this back over and stamp that in place. I can see that I missed some ink when I turned that over. So I have to go back and do that again. But that's what I love about this platform. I missed a tiny bit right there. Perfect. So that is the truck all stamped. Now let me show you a couple other things we're going to do to it. Now, I told you we were going to do some alcohol marker coloring, and this is the color family I'm going to use. I think it's a cute idea to match this to the delivery person you want to give it to. Like maybe you want to give it to the U.S. Postal Service person, and their truck is red and white and blue, or maybe to UPS, their truck is like brown and tan. I think it'd be cute to match it to who you're giving it to. Now, I also have this piece of tape because I want to put some stripes on here, and I've already used this tape once, so no big deal. I can use it over and over again. And what I did, this might be a little bit of overkill, but I think it turned out super cute. I just placed this tape just underneath the little window area or the little placard. I don't know what you want to call that, a window or just a design in the truck area. And then I took a second piece of tape. This is a well-loved piece of tape, but it'll get the job done. And I just made a little stripe right underneath there. And I'm going to pick this up and look at it and make sure it's straight. And I can see right here, I'm not quite even on this end section. Play with that and get that fairly straight, fairly even. And then I just took one of my markers, this blue one in particular, and ran it down there. Now in this area, I can start from the headlight and work my way back. But when we get to the next area, I'll show you, we have to do a little fancy footwork. This is one little spot. See where it's going over the tail light? You don't want to color the tail light, so you have to be mindful of what's underneath there. There we go. So that gives us our little bit of blue onto the truck, and we'll peel that tape away. And I'm going to take both pieces off because I'm going to replace it for the next stripe. So I'm replacing that tape with some fresh tape. I've used that one a couple times, and it's getting pretty messy, and so I'm going to replace it with a fresh piece here for this next stripe. And this time what I'm doing is I'm putting this one right beneath that blue line because I want to have a white stripe in the middle. My stripes aren't perfectly straight, but they're getting there. Let me adjust this one a little bit too. And then I'm going to put another piece with a slight gap underneath it so I can put a red stripe. So I'll end up with blue with white in the middle and then red underneath. Pretty straight. It's not going to be perfect, but I think it'll be cute either way. So now I'm going to color this section in. Now this is where you have to be mindful because you're going to come up on that wheel well and you want to make sure that you steer clear of going through it. You know what I'm saying? I stopped. I don't want to go through where the wheels are. I'm just going to go right where this stripe would be on the truck. And it won't be perfect, but that's okay. We don't do perfect around here, but it will be super cute. Wait till you see it. There we go, a couple of little stripes. Now what I want to do is I want to color my window in, and I want to do it with the bigger nib on my marker here. I'm going to do this because it matches the background paper I've chosen. I think it will be cuter to have a little bit of color in here. I don't want to go super dark. The scene I'm going to do is a snowy scene. So I also want a place for my snowflakes to show. And so doing this window gray is going to allow that. It's going to do that gray, and I'm also going to do this gray. That's why I want to make sure I use the right marker here the right ink here so that it wouldn't smear my marker when I colored over it. So the irony of this card is as I'm making it, I can hear our mail carrier, Kelly, outside in the hallway. I could hear her out there a minute ago talking, so that's super funny. Okay, now then, I'm going to take a darker gray, and with this one, I'm going to color the mirror and also the wheels. Now for the tail lights, I'm going to do two colors. I'm going to do a little bit of yellow on the back one, just like that, and I'm going to do red on the front one, just to give it a little bit of color. Now you might be thinking, what are you going to do with the very front one? Well, let me show you. I'm going to be using one of these one lights. They are so handy for this. I want my headlight to light up. So check this out. Before you fussy cut this guy, you want to do this part. Now listen, you could use the free SVG that we give you with our stamp sets to cut this out with your electronic cutting machine. That would be perfectly fine. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to cut it out this way. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm taking my finger blade and I'm just going to run right inside my stamped line like that. And then I'm going to run right in here and trim out this headlight. This is not hard to do. Do you see how I'm kind of keeping my blade still and moving the paper? That helps too if you're nervous about your blade. It also helps you to keep your hand out of the way. Do not worry if you don't do that perfect, because I'm going to show you a trick. If you'll take your memento marker, the brush nib side, and come from the back, don't come from the front, and stick this through the hole, you can color that in, and no one will even know it wasn't a perfect cut. I've got a little spot right here I'm trying to touch up, and I've got a little smear, but it's okay. It's not on the truck itself. That's why I tell you to come from the other side, so be careful with that. All right, now we can cut this guy out. Now you're probably thinking, what are you going to do when you get to that light? Let me show you. This is what I did on my test card, and it worked just fine. I'm going to cut on the other side of the stamp line, leaving that little sliver there, and I'll show you the trick we'll do to make it nice and sturdy. But I did leave my stamp line, and it does work because we're going to glue vellum behind there, and that gives the vellum a place to hold, and it also adds stability to that little bit that we left there. Isn't that funny? All right, finish cutting it out. Now that I got it fussy cut out, I'm going to take my memento marker and run around so it makes it look like I did a perfect job where I did not do a perfect job. And the same will happen here because I've got a little bit of that white showing because, I cut it kind of chubby on this side. I didn't want to lose my little stripe. So just color it with your black marker and it hides any mistakes or any extra that we left there. All right, while we're here, let's go ahead and put our little piece of vellum on. So I have this little piece and I'm just going to flip this guy over and I'm going to add glue to this area. And this is where we're going to stabilize that little bit. I'm going to add some glue to the back here. Don't worry if it like bleeds out or anything because we're going to cut any vellum that hangs over away anyway. So no big deal. All right, so I'm going to line this guy up right on that little strip. Press that into place. And then any of that vellum that hangs over, see the little edges? I'm going to trim that away with my scissors. I got to do a little more stamping. And I will tell you something. You might want to do this earlier on than I did because my truck is almost done, right? But I want to stamp the words push here. These words come from our stamp set called Action. You guys have asked me before, like, what's the most popular stamp set I've ever made or what's been the most popular? Action would have to be it. It has sold probably more than any other stamp set we have. So I'm going to do push here on the door because luckily, my little one light kind of lands right here and it makes it perfect to tell people where to press. Isn't that cool? I've been bragging about this paper pack and I've got to show you what we're going to use today. We're going to use this scene right here. I knew I was getting close. This little scene, it is going to do all the work on this card. This is what makes this worth it to me because this is a pretty detailed card. You're going to add a light and do all that coloring. But right here, the background of this card is done for you. So watch this. I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches and it pretty much takes it right to that bottom snowbank. Okay. And what I did was I just kind of decided which side did I want to take my extra length off of. It really doesn't matter because I'm going to end up covering this little snowman up, but that's okay. You'll still see the little house. And I think for the delivery truck, that really makes sense. So what I'm going to do is turn this around this way and I'm going to trim this down to 5 1/4 because I'm doing an A2 card. So now I've got 4 by 5 1/4. And now get ready because watch this. Like the card does itself. Look, boom. How perfect is that little background for this? All right, now what we need to do is we need to add our light, which is so easy to do. So I'm going to get it real quick. So this is the one light. And on the back, I'm going to apply some double-sided tape. So I'm just going to stick that down there, and then it's ready to go. But what I want to do first is make a mark where I want it to live. This little scene has like a little hill, and you could play around that hill if you wanted to. I don't really need to do that. And the reason I don't is because I'm going to add another piece on top to kind of sink my wheels into snow. So I'm not as worried about that. I just want to be kind of close to the little hill, but I want to make sure I know where to put my light. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Right here where my headlight is, I'm going to make a pencil mark. And I'm making that pencil mark in the center of the side. Let me show you what I mean. That little pencil mark is going to let me know where to put the light. And let me show you this. On these little guys, the light is that little yellow guy right there. I don't want to press the button. I don't have the battery in right now, but it's so bright I don't want to do it on camera. So what I want to do when I place this down is I want that light to be right in front of my pencil mark because I told myself exactly where to put it. Okay. Now this is my press button, and that's going to be right in my truck where we did press here. Look how cool that is, how it works out. I just love it. All right, let me get a pokey tool because I want to peel this backer off. Now, I'm not going to be putting the battery into this one. I will show you after we get this one assembled what my final version looks like so you can see it. But the reason I'm not going to put the battery in here is because I'm going to save this card for Christmas time, because for our delivery drivers, we have a lot of delivery drivers. Like we have 2 mail trucks that come here every day. So I have at least 2 that I want to give it to, but I'll show you in the finished card where it lights up. But now what we need to do is we need to apply this with some foam. Now also what I'm going to do, because I'm going to add my battery later, I'm not foaming anything here up. I'm not going to make anything here permanent, because then I can lift this up, slide the battery in, and then glue that down later. But I am going to foam back here. So let me show you. I'm using the foam from Pear Blossom, and who also makes the lights. I love this foam. It's actually repositionable for 24 hours. After 24 hours, it becomes permanent. Isn't that interesting? I just think that's a very cool tape. So if I put it somewhere I don't want it, I can pick it up and move it. This is going to be fine. I already know that because I was telling you how I'm going to place it. So let me peel this off, and we will place it down. So I just want to make sure I line my truck up in front of that little headlight. And again, I'm not too worried about this. I told you I'm not too worried because I'm going to add something there. But now what I want to do is do the little strip here that is white cardstock. Let me grab that. So I have the scrap piece of white that I just pulled out of bin. And what I'm going to do is tear along the top to make it like snow, just like this. I don't have to have a very large amount peeled off of it. I just want to get a little bit of this edge ripped. So this is now what will live right here, and I'll pop that up on foam. But I want to do another stamp right here. This one is so cute to me. From the same stamp set, this one says, "You go the extra mile." How cute is that? And I'm going to stamp it right down here in the snowbank, just like that. And then, just for cutesy, I'm going to add some stitch marks. I just think this is really cute. So here where mile ends, I'm just going to do some little stitch marks. And I don't mind them being messy because they kind of look like they're in the snow. They almost even look like footprints or tracks in the snow, which I think are really cute. Love that. Now I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll put that on in just a second. Now I'm using a black card base. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this guy down, our little front piece. Super cute. Let's make the inside for this because it's a black card. I can't write in here. You could use a metallic pen or something, but I'm going to make a piece to go inside. And from the same stamp set again, we're only using one this time. I'm going to do the "Thank you for dashing through the rain, sleet, and snow to deliver cheer." I think this will be cute. So I'm going to do that one in red. I missed that middle. I want to make sure I get it. Do that in red right here in the middle. And then in black, I'm going to do the one that says, "You're appreciated." So let me move that out of the way. And this is going to be from my Onyx Black. I love this one for sentiment. So we're going to put it right down here. "You're appreciated." Perfect. That's going to live inside our card. So just going to glue this down on the inside. And this gives us a place to sign our names as well. Now this should be dry enough to pop it up. And I'm going to use some foam for it as well. Now, when you place it down, you want to make sure that you can get your little truck out of there to put the battery in. So either don't foam this all the way down, or just make sure you can lift this up and get up in there to put your battery in like that. And I left a big gap in the middle so I could do it. You can always secure that with more adhesive later when it's time to give the card. And the last thing I want to do is add some snowflakes. I think because of the background, there's little snowflakes here. I think it's cute to add them here as well. And even though you're doing it on the gray, if you make sure in some places you land on the letters, it's really cute. In real life, you can see the little snowflakes so much better. Make sure you get some like on the lights and on the stripe, and definitely on the wheels, because you'll be able to see all your little snowflakes on your little white truck. And it really helps to blend it into the background. So you ready for the big reveal? Let me bring my first one that I made over that's got the battery in it. I did this one a little different. I did a lighter color red here, but I still think it looks cute. You ready for this? When you press here, you get the little headlight. It is so cute. See how bright it is? It is so adorable. You could probably even layer 2 pieces of vellum if you wanted to kind of knock that back a little bit. It doesn't bother me. Let me hold it this way. Oh, it's still pretty glary. The iPhone that I'm filming on does not love that glare, but how stinking cute is that? Now, I know these little lights and these batteries and things seem expensive, and they can be expensive for every day, but this card is going to go to somebody who goes out of their way, probably 4 or 5 times a week, if not more, to bring something to you. And I just think this is cute. And I think it will bring a smile to their face if they received it. So I don't mind doing this for my delivery driver. I think it's super cute. And then, of course, add yourself a little gift card in here to say thank you to him. But look how cute this is. I just love how this turned out. I'm gonna hit it one more time. So cute. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I do. We've got so many more ideas for this little truck. We just are doing video after video. So as soon as we can, we'll bring you some more ideas. But if you want to pick up this stamp set and the little lights, they're all available in our website or on our website at MaymayMadeIt.com. Don't forget, I want to see what you're doing. I want to see what you're doing with the lights. I want to see what you're doing with this little truck. So please share it with us on our customer gallery at MaymayMadeIt.com, and also on our Facebook group, which is Maymay Made It and So Did I. Thanks so much for being here today, guys. And until next time, bye now.